Before I start this video, I want to let you know that it was inspired by a member of Practical Growth Academy. Someone on there asked me what the most uncommon self-improvement habits would be, so I answered them and I decided to make a whole video on it. PGA is a mastermind that I created to help others grow by watching books and discussing them. It costs $17 a month to join, and I'll personally send you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up today. Anyways, if you want to learn more, let's continue with this entire video, or you can check out the link in the description. Let's get started. Insane habit number 1 is batching. Batching has changed the game for me and my productivity. It saves time, forces me to plan ahead, and helps me take control of my schedule. So there are many different approaches to batching, but I like to batch my tasks on a weekly to-do list by the type of task. Let's say you have 10 papers to write. You have to brainstorm, you gotta write them, edit them, and then publish them, each paper one by one. Well, one way to approach this task is to brainstorm, write, edit, and then publish your first paper on the first day. Brainstorm, write, edit, and publish your second paper on the second day. Now, however, if you batch these tasks, you plan to brainstorm all of your papers on day 1, and then you write all of your papers on day 2, and then so on and so forth. Batching is a way to hyper-organize your task and cut down on the time that it takes to switch gears. If you only have 5 minutes allocated for one unique task, you will need to take some time to put yourself into the right mindset for that task and then transition out of that mindset for the next item on your list. If you give yourself a longer period of time to do that same task over and over and over and over again, you'll fall into something called a flow before you even know it. Batching also encourages you to plan ahead. So let's say you want to batch a group of tasks together because they all take place at a mall. You will need to have all of your stops planned out so that you don't have to drive back to the mall later in the week. See, it's better to batch your weekly and monthly tasks as opposed to your daily task. If you really want to ramp up your productivity, try to look up to a month in the future. I personally know a lot of people that batch their email responses. They reserve time during 2 days of the week that is solely for reading and responding to their emails. During the 5 other days of the week, they set up an automatic response that lets people know when they'll get back to them. Get creative with your batching and give yourself some time to plan ahead. Insane habit number 2 is to not take things too personally. Everyone has been ghosted at some point or another. After feeling the initial sting of rejection, you might start to ask yourself, what did I do wrong? Why am I not good enough? What is wrong with me? Well, the reality is, you're not the center of everyone else's decisions. People take action and make decisions based on all of the things that they have observed in their life, all of the lessons they have been taught, and all of the media that they have consumed. You are just a small part of that. If you decide to take rejection and failures personally, you aren't just setting yourself up to feel rotten, you're setting yourself up to feel rotten based on assumptions that are probably wrong. One classic example is road rage. Have you ever found yourself on the road and the driver next to you starts to honk and yell at you? Maybe you made just a small mistake, and maybe you didn't do anything at all, but the driver doesn't stop yelling at you. If you'd watched my video on the 5 psychological traps that are holding you back, this is a perfect example of the actor-observer effect. See, some people may choose to internalize those insults and honks. They may feel bad and tell themselves that they're a crummy driver. Those people are probably taking the situation too personally. So here's another way to approach the situation, and in my opinion, a better way. You think to yourself, that guy must be in a bad mood. Maybe he's stressed about a presentation he has to give at work, and he took it out on you. Maybe he's speeding to the hospital because his wife is about to give birth. He's probably really nervous if that's true. Or maybe his father had really bad road rage when he was growing up, and he never learned differently. Well, who knows? There's an infinite amount of explanations for why someone would say something mean. Maybe they failed to text you back, or choose someone else for a job. But if you can learn to accept that you may never know the true reason and drop the habit of putting the blame on yourself, you'll live a more stress-free life. Also, before I end this habit, if you want to explore further on this idea, I would recommend reading the book The 4 Agreements. Insane habit number 3 is remembering to ask, and what goes with that is that you shall receive. We often forget that not everyone knows what is going on inside our head. This is why it's so important not to take things personally. We can't always communicate or recognize all of the lessons and events that led up to us flipping off someone in traffic or forgetting to text back. Communication is more important than you might think. No one can read minds. This is the secret behind the old phrase, ask and you shall receive. Because trust me, it works on a psychological level. Managers, teachers, partners, and friends, they can't read minds. They might assume that you're happy in your current job position or with your current responsibilities because you haven't actually spoken up. Once you make your intentions clear, you can start to actually have a conversation and work towards solutions. A lot of people have a hard time saying no to others. If you ask a friend to pick you up from the airport, they might feel bad about saying no. They may think back to a time when they couldn't get a ride from the airport, or maybe they were too afraid to ask anyone for the favor. So they end up saying yes and make it work for their schedule. Problem solved, you got a ride from the airport. And even better, they might not be able to pick you up, but they might know someone who can pick you up. You just have to ask. Keep these habits in mind as you continue throughout the rest of the year. I'm sure they'll be worth remembering. And before I end this video, I wanted to remind you again about Practical Growth Academy. Practical Growth Academy is a private mastermind group where I add animated book summaries, which are actually really cool, and actionable worksheets so that you can better remember and apply the principles that you learn in these books. Plus, I add monthly mini courses, journal outlines. You also get access to a premium chat server with around 300 other people who are serious about growing themselves. And if you join today, I'll personally send you a $20 Amazon gift card. That's actually really cool because it only costs $17 a month to join. And you can cancel anytime, which basically makes your first month risk-free. Anyways, there's a lot more that you'll get access to, including the full Psychology of Beliefs course that teaches you how to find your limiting beliefs, create self-fulfilling prophecies to your advantage, and conquer your mindset. If you want to learn more, check the link in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.